It feels weird to be more positive about a video game than the majority of reviewers, but here we are. Elden Ring Nightreign is a game that currently sits at a Metacritic score of 77, which, while that's cool, because it's the number I wear when I play hockey, it is also quite shocking to me. Because while I bought Nightreign expecting to not love it as much as even Dark Souls 2 or Bloodborne, I really didn't think I would absolutely love playing every minute of it either. But what is Elden Ring Nightreign?
Yeah!
Elden Ring Nightreign is a standalone adventure within the Elden Ring universe, crafted to offer players a new gaming experience by reimagining the game's core design. And that's at least according to Steam. But what does that mean? Well, Elden Ring Nightreign is actually quite difficult to describe. It is the combination of many different types of games. People have been calling it a roguelike, but to me it seems more like Monster Hunter or like Diablo, where you just kind of hang out with friends and kill some bosses. And honestly, when it was announced and they explained that it was basically multiplayer only and a roguelike, all of my excitement went out the window. In fact, if this game was even $20 more, I'm not convinced I would have given it a try. But after Elden Ring and Shadow of the Erdtree, I was still hungry for more. Now I can say I'm a unique player because I've beaten Elden Ring like 30 times or more since it came out 3 years ago. I've played through the OG Elden Ring to the point I've been rolling a d10 to pick my class and starting gift. There might literally be something wrong with my brain, so take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt. After beating Nightreign, which took about 40 hours of runs with random people, I then played it for another 60 hours. Not only to pay it forward and help other players, also, for like fun. So after a solid 100 hours of gameplay, I can safely say this. Elden Ring Nightreign is fun, like addicting and requiring all of your focus fun. Now, I used to have a friend who would take off work for a week after a new game came out, and although I've been a gamer my entire life, basically was born with an NES controller in my hands, I truly never understood him doing that until I hit the gameplay loop of Elden Ring Nightreign. Basically, From Software has boiled down all of the things I've enjoyed from the Dark Souls series, and instead of it being served to you through a 20-hour game to enjoy, you will get it all done within 45 minutes with two other people. As for the story, Elden Ring Nightreign is a spin off set in a parallel universe within the Elden Ring world, divulging from the main timeline after the Shattering. It focuses on a co-op survival experience where players known as Nightfarers must navigate a world consumed by an encroaching night and defeat the Night Lord, an unnamed monstrous being that is the central antagonist. This being is a walking natural disaster with influence causing the night's tide and driving the world towards destruction. The game also uses a 3-day cycle. The first 2 days are focusing on preparing by gathering gear, fighting bosses, and leveling up, while the third day culminates in a boss battle against one of the Night Lords. As for the graphics and performance of Nightreign, I have the PS5 version, and it runs pretty well. There seems to be like certain hiccups with the servers where sometimes I don't know if the boss is frozen, if I'm frozen, if my teammates are frozen, if I'm already dead. But that happens pretty rarely, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And usually I'm not dead, which is surprising. So that's nice. And graphically, it looks good, like it's Elden Ring from Software. So why do I think other people have not been quite as high on this game as I have? Well, it seems very simple to me. People. Have you met people? They're not great. I mean, some can be for sure. Let me put it this way. It's like if you ask somebody if they think they're above or below average intelligence. Have you met a single person that would have said below? Probably not. What if I simply asked them if they were above or below average gamer? You're going to run into below average gamers in any multiplayer game. Hell, I'm one of them normally. You can react in many different ways to running into bad players in a game. You can blame them for you being a failure. You can do your best to carry, because you're an above average gamer, right? I'd believe that if you were subscribed to the channel. Or you can do the unthinkable and quit the game during a match. How you react says a lot about you as a person and a teammate. That all being said, however, From Software has also made their games catered to those anti team and antagonistic players. With the invader system that's been around forever, so some of this is their own making. And also, as much as I enjoy not having the ability to talk to random people on the internet, it would also be a lie to say it isn't an obstacle that makes teamwork more difficult than it should be. Long story short, my first reaction to a bad teammate is to try to be positive, and I usually find myself chuckling when I run into people having a hard time in a game. I mean, it's just a game after all. I can't fault people for being new to a game that came out 2 weeks ago. Just means they most likely have responsibilities and lives outside of Elden Ring, or video games in general. And even after being positive and trying my best, sometimes that won't be good enough to beat the Night Lord on day 3. Luckily, there's always the next run with new randoms, so we can try again. The music in Elden Ring Nightreign is great as always. From Software has some of the best music in gaming, up there with Nintendo, Capcom, and Konami. So, yeah, it's just as good as the Soul series. Overall, I greatly enjoyed my time in Elden Ring Nightreign, but I also wouldn't say it's for everyone. I know plenty of people in real life that can't get into the Souls games, hence why I play with randoms in the first place. The game not having crossplay doesn't help with that. With that, let's talk about the things that can be improved. For example, the progression system outside of runs is not great. While most roguelikes reward you with playing the game over and over with interesting and run changing rewards, making your character stronger and able to get through runs easier. This is not the case here. There are some cool statuses you can add to your starting weapon to help you with the Night Lord weaknesses. Other than that, though, I gotta say it's pretty lackluster. You'll still be relying on the skill of yourself and your teammates. I did enjoy the unlocks for the character costumes, but you don't get those until after you beat the last of the 8 Night Lords. Also, they're just cosmetic. There are 6 starting classes, with 2 unlockable classes, so that's at least something tangible to obtain. I ended up mostly playing Guardian and Iron Eye, both of which I would consider a supporting class with low damage output, but the ability to resurrect teammates and draw aggro. Praise the Sun and jolly cooperation has been instilled in me by our boy Solaire since back in Dark Souls 1. Speaking of Dark Souls 1, during the first 2 days in Nightreign, you will be coming across a greatest hits of Souls bosses from the past. I know the initial trailer showed Centipede Demon and Nameless King from Dark Souls 3. There are a few more not shown that I won't ruin here. I feel like it's a cool touch for people who've played all the titles, but I've noticed teammates having trouble, especially with Nameless King, the first few days. Which is also expected since they're not from Elden Ring, and that basically sold the same amount of copies as the entire Souls trilogy. I do understand why this game is divisive, and I'm not here to tell people they're wrong to feel a certain way. At the end of the day, we're all unique when it comes to the things we like and dislike. Sure, the internet has agreed Elden Ring Nightreign is a 77, but if I had to give it a grade, it'd be a 99, as is the Wayne Gretzky of roguelikes. Well, not really. It's probably like a 90, 90, 92. I don't know. I don't give grades. Higher than a 77, lower than 100. It has some flaws. I hope this review helped another Dark Souls enjoyer off the fence, because I really think the majority of them will like this game. If they're down to play and not talk with random people online anyway. What did you think about Elden Ring Nightreign? If you're still playing it, feel free to use the group password BSmack. Maybe you'll see my corpse if you play on PS5. That's it for this one. I'll see you in the next. Same bunny time, same bunny channel. Alright, see you. Also, you can like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want. I'm not your dad. If for some reason you're still here at the end of this video, you can also support me on Patreon.